Hey y'all, we're back again. Got a couple questions that come in. The first one is the old house, the original house that you lived in when y'all moved to Graceland, the older one. About somebody had asked about they heard or something about y'all bulldozed it down or tore it down. So
Well, when Elvis first bought Graceland, that house was on the property, and none of the fence, anything, and the house was going. He was going to have all the fence built and the house decorated, it, and all the grounds work, and so they had a lot going on. So we actually moved out in that house before they moved into Graceland, and Daddy was there, and he was making sure everything went like it was, because during that time his mom and dad had gone to California out there with Elvis and to stay a while, and so we moved into this house, which is it's in the I would say the northeast section of the property. Graceland, the property kind of runs up there, and it has a little thing out. If you look at it from one side, it looks like an L. Well, that's where the trailers were too, but originally that was the house, and we lived there until about 1960.
When you say we, you.
Me and my mom and daddy and my brother Bobby, yeah, and my family. And so after he came back from Germany, his daddy had thought about having it tore down and maybe building a house on the property, but later we moved away from Graceland naturally, and thought about building him a house there, but later on he bought the one on Dolanson. But to get to the house, it was in '66, just before he bought the ranch and all. He decided that we didn't have enough riding room. That's when we all got the horses, and there was a lot of us. It was all the guys and all their wives and friends and stuff, and he bought horses for them. We had a lot of horses there, so he thought we'd just make more room. Well, the house it was having a porch built on it. Like Rollin was having a new porch built on. The other one was kind of.
They were using it for storage. Of
Yeah,
the
they were
old
using
furniture.
it right. They were using it for
They came
storage
out.
and stuff, and he was having the. It was the porch, was
Had
kind of
rotted.
rotting away, so he was having a new porch put on it. Well, Elvis, he decided, he wanted to get rid of this house and make some ride room. Well, naturally, with Elvis, it can't be done next week. I want it, done now.
Had to be
So
done today.
he said,
Right
how can we get rid of this? And he got to thinking to himself, I'll just have a bulldozer. So I think he got Joe Esposito to call, or Alan 41 to call, and they brought out a bulldozer, and he wanted to, bulldoze that house down. So they brought it out, and he said, does this thing work anything like a tank? Because Elvis was, used to driving a tank, and the levers was somewhat like a tank. And the guy said, yeah. So he said, if you would, he said, it's my property and my responsibility. If anything happens to me anyway, he said, can I drive it? The guy said, you rented it, you can drive it if you want to. He said, all right, I brought a driver, but you'd have to pay him. He said, well, the paying wouldn't be no problem. I'll pay him anyhow, but I want to drive it. So he sent to the house and got a couple football helmets. And we put on the football helmets. Now this was a D9, one of the biggest Caterpillars you could get. And it had a all metal top on it, but the sides and the front was open. So he figured, what we'd do is just raise the blade you know, and go through it. And, well, why he picked me for all these dangerous things over the years, I don't know. I guess he figured, you know,
He'll do it.
if he's a sucker, and if I'm gonna go, I'll take somebody with me. I don't know, but anyway, I was all for it, and so we got on it. And about that time, his dad and Red, he had a little bitty bulldozer that he had rented and was using to clean up around there. Uncle Vernon had. So Red jumped on this thing and hit the side of the building and almost bouncing back, you know. So we got started. We made it around to the back, and we was gonna come through. We did. Right through the middle of that sucker we went.
But first,
And
tell about his daddy. Said,
Well, yeah,
Wait,
his
let me-
daddy, I laughed. And his daddy said,
"Wait,
wait a minute, son. Said, we got a lot of good stuff in there. And he was headed
he
inside,
went
there.
inside." Yeah.
And Elvis said, well, Daddy, you got just about 5 minutes to get it out. And about that time we hit that, and here comes Uncle Vernon out. They saw him. I didn't. 'Cause
Plaster all in his hair.
But we come through that house, boy, and I'm going to tell you, one of them big rafters had shot through over the
Hood
blade
thing.
and come through, and thank goodness it missed both of us, and it hit the back of it and it broke. But I mean, we come through it, and it didn't slow us down. 3 swipes with that bulldozer, and that house was leveled.
Yep.
Then it was just a matter of pushing it all up
Scrape
in
it
a
up.
pile and set fire to it. Well, naturally the neighbors and all called the fire department. They were running all over, as they used to say, hell in half acre, trying to get to where the fire was.
They couldn't get him.
And they didn't know, you know, that it was actually on Graceland property until they had gone around to the back section where the people lived, and they let them come up and look, you know, and when they did, then they come back around. But somebody had, you know, complained about the fire and all that. And it was a pretty good sized fire.
So basically, Daddy,
So I guess that's where I got all my fire.
I just you tried to slip in on me because that's what I was gonna say. Daddy,
Before
Daddy,
they
and,
get there,
yeah, Daddy
I
and the
guess
fire
that's where I
go
got
way
the fire
back.
things from.
Yeah, he was always a firebug.
But
Yeah,
Don't
play with matches.
We bulldoze it down, we burn it, and then we covered it up all within about, I guess maybe 5 hours.
Yep.
yeah.
And
Yep.
That's fun.
but another funny thing was when the guys came back. His
The
name
carpenter.
was Mr. Cock,
Yeah.
and his son, and they were the ones that had built the porch. Well, they come back the next day, and they had their paintbrushes and everything all ready to go.
They were going to paint the porch.
They walked out there with their stuff and all, and it just stopped and just kind of looked for a minute, and his son looked over the old man. He said, Mr. Cock, he called his daddy, Mr. Cock, and he said, Mr. Cock, he said, there was a house with a porch here yesterday, wasn't it? Or are we?
We losing it.
Are we losing it? And then they went back out to the office. They talked to Uncle Vernon. He told them what happened. But they just stopped and they looked for a minute, boy, and just stared. Unbelievable, wasn't it?
In
They
one,
came up their little truck.
Yeah,
with
that
all
little
the
truck that-
supplies.
in
Hey,
one
no.
day, it was gone.
But
They're
that was
here today, gone tomorrow.
yeah. But we
Oh, what
did.
is it?
We had
Now you
a
see me
little
hang
bit
it up.
bigger
Yeah.
riding area after that. But it was funny, man. The kind of stuff that we did, it was really dangerous, but it was so funny. I mean, and that was, it was a pretty good. It was like a 3-bedroom house, But it was all wood, and it didn't, like I say, it
That
didn't
was
take
back
that bulldozer.
when we were young, and we
Yeah.
thought we were
Yeah,
invincible.
yeah.
Nothing could.
Especially with Elvis,
Yeah,
with Elvis,
thought
I didn't
nothing
think
could
anything
happen.
could happen, But I thought that was a great story, and I'd like to share it too.
Yeah, man, hope.
A lot of people have read it in our book, but a lot of people haven't heard the story, so we thought we'd share it.
But
with
it was
you.
true, and
This is
Yeah.
true.
This is true.
And I hope you enjoyed that one. Another question that we had was, Mama, for you. It was crazy thing or crazy things that you and Priscilla ever did.
We did a lot.
I
of
know
crazy
there's a
things.
lot of them, but you pick one and tell it.
Well, something probably nobody would think, because I was married and had a baby, but I was still only, 16, 17
I
years
was the
old. He
baby.
was the baby. My cousin, Pat, and she had moved just recently next door to me from West Memphis, Arkansas, and she knew a lot of the kids that she had just graduated from high school. And it was Halloween night, and we got the crazy idea.
So the witches were
The,
out.
the witches. You wonder who that is riding on that broom on Facebook? That was me. But we got the crazy idea to roll some yards. So we loaded up my car, which was that Dodge that we had, and with toilet paper. All the back seat was full, and my cousin took us on the route to the people that she had a grudge against. So we waited till it got real dark, and we got out and unrolled that toilet paper. And I mean, we wrapped up cars and we rolled some yards and
made them look like a Christmas present.
yeah. One time somebody opened the door and we ran and got in a ditch, and laid low for a little bit. Then we finally made it back to my car, and we hit it back on across the bridge, because we got to thinking about if we got arrested for rolling yards, it might not look too good in the newspaper of her being Elvis's girlfriend, and me with a baby, and so. But we did a lot of fun, silly, crazy things. We hung out a lot together, and me and my best friend was Patsy Lacker, and because we went through so much, Patsy and me did together, and usually it would be me and Patsy and Priscilla, Patsy Lacker and Patsy Gamble, who was Patsy Presley, and Becky Yancey, and we would hang out together and go to lunch and all kinds of stuff, play cards, and we went to the fairgrounds, and we would go to drive-in movies and get donuts. I remember one time we got us some donuts and took to the movie, and I don't think I ate donuts for about a year because we ate them all. But we had a lot of fun.
It goes back to
crazy.
those saying, while the men are away, the women will get out and play.
We tried to find things to do until they got back home. That was before we were allowed to go on them.
Right.
But after we were allowed to go,
That was the worst mistake we ever made.
we went. I drug Danny and Danny all over the place with Priscilla and me. We'd go shopping out in California.
She'll look at this, and I'll pay for that after this little comment.
And people wonder why I'm crazy.
We would drag Danny around with us, and I know we went to a store. I think it was May Company or Orbox, and Danny was on. They had this mannequin up on the stand, and Priscilla and I were looking at some outfits, and Danny climbed up on the stand and was trying to look up under the mannequin's dress and turned it over. The whole mannequin turned it over, and I remember her laughing. She had a contagious laugh like Elvis did, and she would just cackle, and she laughed, and we grabbed Danny and cut out and got out of the store.
Elvis wasn't the only one was come up with some crazy ideas.
No, we had. She was a lot of fun. She really was.
And
Back when we were young, we did whatever we had to do to survive.
just be crazy and have fun.
Be crazy, have fun,
Make the time pass.
make the time pass.
And with that, before we get off into some Danny Young war stories, we're going to end today, and hope y'all enjoyed it. Like always, appreciate y'all watching. Appreciate the comments. Keep
Subscribe.
them coming. Yep. And as always,
We
we always live Elvis.